The way Blake Lively is texting Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, you would think she's actually friends with these people and they talk often, but you know they're not because of the way she's texting them. Also, today is Judgment Day. Did you guys realize that? At the time you're seeing this, Brian Friedman, Judge Lyman, everybody is rolling around, probably having a nice dream or a nightmare, getting ready to wake up to have their coffees and head to the courthouse. And we'll know exactly what we have left to go to trial with. Grab a snack, meet me on the other side. Let me catch you up.
F around and find out. F around and find out.
Hello there, beautiful people, and welcome back to a brand new episode of F Around and Find Out. I'm still your host, Elsie. I still may look like a zombie, but I promise it's still me. I got about 4 hours of sleep between the last 48 hours. I'm not even joking, but I promise I'm okay. That's very typical for me. You guys know this already. We're going to kick off with the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon text messages, but very, very quickly, the Taylor Swift supporters going out of their way to swear to God and us these text messages between Blake and Taylor mean nothing. You should see my text between me and my bestie. We talk like this all the time. Don't tell me you and your best friends don't talk like this about people all the time. And I feel like you've missed the plot. The plot has gone so over your head, you don't even know where you are. So let me help you understand if you're confused. The simple answer is you're broke. You have no money, you have no resources, you have no power. Let me explain. The reason you think you, as an individual, as a person working a 9-to-5 job, a corporate job, whatever, the reason you think you and your best friend, you and your friend, you and your sister, you and whomever, talking through text about a person, calling them out of their name, calling them a doofus, calling them green, calling them egomaniac, a psychopath, calling them whatever you want to call them, the reason you think it's the same as Taylor and Blake having that same conversation is because you're broke. You don't have the resources to change anything. That's why you think it's not a big deal. The difference in this case, the difference in this situation is Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Taylor Swift, and everybody who was involved in this case has the resources, had the resources, and used said resources to effectively, very, very effectively change the trajectory of the movie, of the process, of Justin Baldoni's life, hell, of all of our lives. The gravity of what happened didn't stay in the text message. If you look at my text messages between me and my friends now, if you look at me and Lauren and we're talking shit, if you look at me and Donna, Zach, Bocce, Carol, and we're talking shit in our text messages, it stops there. We don't have the power, the money, the resources to do anything about anything. If we look at you and your best friend text messages and you're talking about a coworker you don't like, and you're talking about a friend you don't like, a parent, whoever, it stops there. No necessary steps are taken further as in, oh, after I tell you I don't like this person, after I tell you this person is a B word, after I tell you this person is a clown, we don't then go and grab our detective board and get our little, what are those things called, right? We don't now get out our little pin cushion things and start pinning plots. Okay, we're going to do this. This is how we're going to steal the movie. This is how we're going to change his life. This is how we're going to rock his world. Taylor Swift literally said in her message, this is the long con. It's a long game they're playing. People don't go from talking mess in their text message to having a proper plan to carry out said plan. That's the difference. And I don't know how that's been confusing people. I don't know how that's gone over people's heads. The reason this is a big deal is Taylor Swift wanted to act like when Jesus Christ is not available, she sits on the right hand of God. Okay? When Jesus is on vacation, when Jesus is doing whatever, she's the one next to God ruling the world. She can't be touched. She's pure. She's amazing. And you're finding out that might not be true. And that's shocking you. That's rocking your world. Allow that to happen. But what I really need is for you to allow critical thinking to descend upon you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Allow your brain to be used for what it was meant to do. Think about it. You having beef with a coworker, it's not the same as Taylor Swift having beef. Taylor Swift had beef with people and it meant millions of dollars. You having beef with people means skipping lunch. Not the same thing. The fact that this has to even be broken down into little chunk of pieces is crazy to me. I thought we were all smarter than this. So no, it's not a big deal. It's a huge deal. that Taylor Swift want us to be mad because Kanye West called her the B word. But hold up. She wants to call Justin the B word, and we're supposed to what? Oh my God, it's so Taylor. Like, I'm defending my friend. She's so loyal. No. She's being a mean girl. And more than that, she plotted and planned to take this man's movie and lied. Every headline throughout the summer from Taylor's camp was Taylor had nothing to do with this. All Taylor did was lend her song to this movie. All Taylor did was walk into an apartment where Justin happened to be there. And we're finding out that is so far removed from the truth, your mind will blow open. Capiche? Capiche. We're going to pick it up with another one of those famous friends, Ben Affleck. Allegedly, Blake Lively had an affair with that man when they were filming The Town. We've talked about this 100 times. I don't mean to belabor the point, but we talked about it just about a couple of weeks ago, how Blake said when they were filming The Town, Ben Affleck would film scenes as a director that he didn't even need, things that were not even in a script. Right. She had no issue with that. She thought it was genius. She thought it was amazing that he did that. But also the street said, you were sending that man nudes. Allegedly, don't sue me. The streets also said you were sleeping with a man while he was married to Jen. The first Jen, you know what I'm saying, Jen Gardner. But again, allegedly, don't sue me. I didn't say it. The streets are saying that. But you said it wasn't you in the pictures. We haven't heard you deny the affair. But we have you sending him a very, very ridiculous email. And that's how we know you're not really friends. You are starting to now grovel and dig through your contacts. You got your Rolodex to see who can I call, who can I text. Let's read the Ben Affleck message. So Blake Lively emails Ben Affleck on May 17th, 2024 at 12 a.m. She writes, Ben, it's Blake. Don't hang up. Right there, I already know you haven't spoken in a while. I already know you haven't spoken in a hot minute. Further down, she also now brings up the fact that, oh, I love your wife, by the way. Every time I see her, I tell her, you're not friends. You're certainly not friends. If you have to tell me in an email how much you like my wife and you love my wife and you tell her every time you see her, we're not friends like that. We're not that cool. The email reads, it's Blake. Don't hang up. I hope life is treating you beautifully. Ryan was going on... I already know Ryan is sitting there like, hey, if you're going to text the man who allegedly used to have an affair with you, I know what that's like because I did the same thing with you. That's not alleged. I'm just saying. Make sure I'm all over this email as well. Ryan was going on and on about you recently amongst all the blank chaos. He was blown away by you, though he was equally effusive about your Dunkin' commercial. I know you have a Canadian fan club in my house and a Burbank one too. Just cut to the freaking chase. The word salad is too much. I'm writing with a zero pressure ask. Really? I've just come out the other side, well, almost, of the most upsetting experience I've ever had on a movie. The making of a doc of this film would be more interesting than the movie could ever be. It's like if Wild Wild Country, Fire Festival, and Going Claire had a baby with The Room. Room also works, though. Also, you just came off a movie about DV, such a topic, right? That affected a lot of people. People love this movie for what it stood because it meant a lot for them. And for you to say the doc about what happened behind the scenes would be more interesting than the movie is crazy. Now, I think the documentary about what's happening now would be far interesting, but for you to be the lead actor in that role and say that was crazy. Anyway, I ended up rewriting and restructuring the entire script. I also ended up having to, again, it kind of reads like her PGA mark. We're going to get to it. Also ended up having to direct the movie via the chaotic clown director, actor, producer, financier, studio head of the center. Yes, that's all the same person. Oh, and did I mention he and everyone he had on a movie is in a cult? You're going to want to remember that cult part. It's important. If I would have just formally directed it, it would have been much easier. But having to troubleshoot through his taste, ego, and pre-existing decisions made it so difficult. And that's not even touching on any of the wild HR issues and beyond. Anyway, now I'm in a bake-off with him in the edit. He's been editing since, I kid you not, July, and they gave me 10 days to do my own pass. We have a bake-off in 12 days, but I have a friends and family preview in New York on Saturday. In the meantime, in the meantime. So can I get one round of notes or feedback before we duke it out? If you have an hour 58 of free time at any time in the next few days, would you be willing to watch the movie and give any ideas or notes? I will pix it to you. You can literally text me a voice memo so you don't have to formally write thoughts. If your wife or kids are around, I would love their opinion also. FYI, it does cover domestic violence, so no one is caught off guard. I'm such a fan of Jennifer's. I've told her as much every time I've met her. And which Jennifer? I'm joking. And it would be an honor to have her take. Again, zero pressure. I just really want this to work after all I've put in it. This movie nearly killed me. And I can think of very few people who would be as prescriptive and insightful as I know you would be. Ryan asked Matt to watch also. I think he's watching this weekend. Good men showing up. I'm beyond grateful for that. Also, can you believe Jason Bourne is watching my movie? I'll get you an autograph one day. Don't worry. If you're still reading this, whoa, you're not nearly as busy as you think, or you're a very nice person. Sending you all the best. B87. She really thinks she's the main character. This woman really thinks she's the main character. And like I said, if this is somebody who is actually your friend and you talk to all the time, you don't now literally tack on very quickly. By the way, I love your wife. I love her work. Like I've always been a fan. I tell her every time I see her. It would kind of be a given. But okay. We're going to look at Ryan Reynolds' message to Matt Damon and his wife. And this might look like an email to you. Babes, it's not an email. This is a full-blown text message. And like I said, you're going to want to remember the cult stuff. Ryan Reynolds messages Matt Damon and Lucy. Matt and Lucy, if the offer is still open to watch the movie, pics will work great. Easiest way is to log into Blake's account whenever you're ready. If you text her, she can give you the login and code and you're in. And again, this is such a zero pressure ask. They're literally sitting next to each other writing the same thing. We know how important family time is when we're up in redacted. So no worries either way. We'd love to get your well-earned POV. And if your girls want to see it on the big screen at B's Family and Friends screening Saturday at 6 p.m., they're obviously most welcome. This movie has been one of the all-time zingers off and on and off set. One day we'll make a movie about the movie. I dare you. And we can't wait to tell you all about it. The stories are already finding their place in the pantheon of legendary Hollywood insanity. We're about to be off for at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years, maybe forever. Let's play pickleball. Hey, at least Ryan knew they weren't going to get a job for a while. You better be off for forever. You got that right, buddy. Blake writes, Blake here, adding more zeros to the pressure. Blake here. What is wrong with her? Thank you for even considering, and it's not a bad movie, so who knows? You just may enjoy some of it. Be warned, it covers domestic violence in key places, so just want to be sure you know. This movie nearly killed me. Again, the director, co-star, producer, financier, head of the studio, yes, all one person. Oh my God, it's the same message. Had zero experience, but the good news is he also has no taste. Wow. And an enormous ego, but only because he's in a cult and believes he's our century's prophet. I wish even one of these things were hyperbole. Anyway, juicy stuff. I told him on day one, after so much shit had already gone down, I don't need anything from you. I don't need you to guide me or to make me feel good. I've got me. All I need from you is to just not make me feel like shit. That's it. I've got the rest. And that became true. What I didn't anticipate was having to do everything in the movie. I rewrote the entire script. I directed every actor. The DP was coming to me when we couldn't get anything from him. So way too often. Then after all this, Justin wouldn't bring me in the edit. He had no idea what he had because he didn't author any of it. They gave me 10 days to scrap together an edit to compete with an edit he's been making since July. I've been asleep about an hour and a half each night because that's obviously not enough time. So I've just been gunning it. We're in a bake-off now, which will happen in 12 days. This weekend screening is my chance to get the first and only feedback on my cut before the bake-off. Anyway, it's all the drama. That was the headline of the gossip. Not even good stuff. Way too much info. And like Ryan said, zero pressure, except the pickleball part. There's significant pressure there. Lucy responds, we would love to watch your movie tomorrow. I'm so sorry you had such an awful experience doing a job you love. We're around all weekend for pickleball. Are you guys redacted? Matt Damon responds, "We'll give you any help we can. And if this experience hasn't totally destroyed your soul, Blake, you should come direct to your next movie at Artist Equity. We're kind of like a cult, but a really nice one." What made you guys think this was her movie in the first place to direct, to offer her a place to direct it? It wasn't hers. She didn't author the movie. She didn't write the script. She didn't come up with it. So what made you guys think you could offer her a place to direct her next movie? It wasn't hers to direct in the first place. Blake Lively says, "Where do I sign?" Matt says, "I'm looking forward to seeing his work." Blake says, "I can get it to you on Pix, but politically, it's cleaner if you just log into mine. If you have any sense of when you watch it, whenever you know, I'll just have to call you with a login and a 2-factor code." Lucy Damon says, "Of course, we're happy to watch and hopefully be helpful. Let's talk tomorrow." Politically, because this man is also the head of the studio. Fuck my life. Sony is distributing and looking for every reason not to use his cut. That's not true. That's not true. If Sony was looking for every reason not to use his cut, Sony would have just hired an editor. You are the one fighting to get your cut in there, and his performed better in the focus group. And again, if Sony was using for every reason to not use his cut, you wouldn't have bothered with a bake-off. You could have just walked in there and said, "Sony says, fuck you and your cut." Blake says, "Thank you so much. It's insane the power this guy has had with no experience to back him. It's all his cult money and backing," says Blake. "Wild stuff." Lucy and Matt Damon says, "Artist equity from now on. No need for weird cult money." Ryan says, "Several weeks before shooting, right after Blake had given birth to our son, this guy called our trainer, Don, and asked, 'How much do you think Blake will weigh in 2 weeks?' Don got very Long Island all of a sudden, and Justin backtracked. He said, 'I'm only asking because I have to carry her in a scene and I have low bone density.'" Lucy Damon says, "Sorry, but what the actual fuck? He's dead." It was actually 2 weeks before when pressed even further, he said he needed to train to adjust his bone density because, to circle back, he has low bone density. He also told me last year that he speaks to my father often. He hopes I don't mind. My father died 3 years ago. Lucy Damon says, "What? I'm fascinated by this creep. I think you should make a movie about this guy. I literally already have the name of my doc, Lights Cult Action." Ryan Reynolds says, "Right. I've never seen anything like it. A malignantly vain sociopath, feminist with almost no sense of boundaries or shame. I cannot believe he hasn't gone to jail or returned to the sun." Wow. Wow. Those are the text messages between Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Lucy Damon. They wanted the man to die. Return him to the sun, they said. I find it completely insane. And I don't know why mainstream media is acting like it's not insane that every single piece of text message we're getting about Blake Lively talking to friends, family, whoever to come and support her, she's complaining about Justin being green, inexperienced, cult money, whatever else, doofus. Again, she's not talking about this man assaulting her to anybody. That's not the issue. The issue is she hates him. She absolutely hates him for being too nice. And I've always said she thought she would just take over this movie, and that's the only reason she agreed to do it. And this Ben Affleck message proves it when she says, "If I had just formally directed it from the beginning." It was never an option for you to direct this movie from the beginning. You weren't hired as a director, as a producer, as none of that. You were hired as barely an actress to play a role, and you couldn't do that. And I think you signed on very quickly. You were like, "Oh, Justin Baldoni, who is this guy? Yeah, we got this." You and Ryan were at home like like hyenas, clacking your teeth, thinking you got this. Moneymaker, easy money. And then you found out shit ain't sweet. And that's what's fucking you up. That's what's keeping you up at night. And the reason you keep bringing up Steve Surwood's cult money is you also never expected this. You never thought that not only is Steve Surwood's going to finance the movie and finance the studio, but if you decided to show your teeth at Justin, he would have backing. Litigation will drag on for 365 days and some change in a bag of chips. That's what's keeping you up at night, babes. That's what's fucking you up. And for that, I thank God for you. I'm so glad that is your karma. I'm interested to see what's left tomorrow after the hearing, what's going to be left, what's going to be thrown out, what we're walking into trial with, and what happens to Blake Lively after the hearing tomorrow. What does she decide to do? I just know Justin Baldoni cannot settle. I will literally not forgive him if he settled. I don't care. I will not let it happen. I will not let it stand. If I have to fly to wherever he is and hold him down so he doesn't settle, I will have to do that because we need to see it. We need to see a trial. We need to see a jury. Everything has to come out. And if the reports of Taylor Swift being a hostile witness has any truth to it, this is going to be interesting. I appreciate you for being here. Like I said, there is so much to bring to you guys. I don't want to make hour-long videos. I don't want to make 4-hour-long videos. So I'm going to bring it to you in increments. I'm going to try to do 2 a days moving forward tomorrow, but I cannot promise you anything because it's a lot to get into all of these and try to keep them in order. But I appreciate you for being here nonetheless. I appreciate the support. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, turn your notification bells on, and hype the video. It goes a very, very long way. And I appreciate you once again. I can't say it enough. I'll see you in the next one. Have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye.
Around